If you look at history, innovation doesn't come just from giving people incentives. It comes from creating environments where their ideas can connect. Therefore, to create a platform and a conducive environment for the undergraduates to disseminate their research findings, ladies and gentlemen, the AgSURS will mark its second remarkable inauguration as AgSURS 2023 in its history today.
The Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka is glorious and prominent university in the country. As one of oldest faculties in the university, the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences has reached numerous remarkable milestones since establishment in 1996. We are sure that the AgSURS 2023 will leave everlasting imprints in the fields of research. As an undergraduate of the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, it gives me an immense pleasure to see you all here today in the audience as we mark that very significant milestone in our journey.
To enlighten the technology of tomorrow, new knowledge needs to be invented, innovated, and disseminated. Hence, the second undergraduate research symposium in agricultural sciences, AgSURS 2023, is organized under the theme to explore the world through research and innovation.
As customary in this part of the world, we commence any auspicious occasions with divine blessings. Now it's time to welcome dance by undergraduate to get the blessings of Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and creativity.
जगन्मोहिनी मधुर भाषिणी चारु देहिनी कमल वासिनी सरस्वती देवी वंदे सरस्वती देवी कंचनमाला कूजित किंकिनी नूपुरजाला कंपित कंचनमाला कूजित किंकिनी नूपुरजाला पाद सरोदे कटी तटाके पाद सरोदे कटी तटाके चंचल नर्तन लीला चंचल नर्तन लीला मकर पंकज रूपाकुल अंकिक कुंकुम रेखा मीन मकर पंकज रूपाकुल अंकिक कुंकुम रेखा पूर्ण कुंभ मिव पीन पयोधर पूर्ण कुंभ मिव पीन पयोधर पूरितामृत धारा पूरितामृत धारा भाग्यसाधन पुण्यमूर्तिधर सुरकुल वर अभिरूपा भाग्यसाधन पुण्यमूर्तिधर सुरकुल वर अभिरूपा देहि देहि वरदायक हस्ते देहि देहि वरदायक हस्ते शुभ मंगल मुद्रा शुभ मंगल मुद्रा
In keeping with Sri Lankan traditions, we welcome our Honorable Chief Guest and other dignitaries to join us in the lighting the oil lamp.
First, I would like to welcome our guest of honor, Senior Professor Uday Ratnayaka, the Vice Chancellor, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, to light this event first.
And also we would like to invite the keynote speaker, Professor H.M. Samanke Herath, the Dean, Faculty of Animal Science and Export Agriculture, Uvavellas University of Sri Lanka.
Then we will be joined by Professor Asha Karunaratne, the Dean, Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka.
Then we will be joined by Dr. Amila Bandara, the Conference Chair of AgSURS 2023. We also invite, representing all the deans of the faculties, Professor H.M.S. Priyanath, the Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies, to join us in the lighting of the oil lamp. Representing the directors of the centers of the university, we will also be joined by Professor B.T.G.S. Kumara, the Director, Center for Research and Knowledge Dissemination of Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka. We cordially invite the heads of the departments of the faculty, Professor Sanjeeva Jayavira, the head of the Department of Livestock Production, Dr. J. B. D. A. P. Kumara, the head of the Department of Export Agriculture. And also we would like to invite the librarian of Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, Mrs. T. N. Nesuri. And also we would like to invite Mr. S. Uyangoda, the registrar, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka. And also Mr. Priyantha Senadira, Acting Bursar, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka. We also invite Mr. Nalin Dhammika Mahagama, the President of the Agri-Alumni Association. Representing all the sponsors of AgSURS 2023, we would like to invite Mr. Dilip Fernando, CEO, Avon Pharma Chem Private Limited. And also we would like to invite Mr. Harshana Galahitigama, the Symposium Coordinator. And also Ms. Malita Tarindi and Mr. Satrasela Peruma as the Joint Secretaries. Finally, let us also invite one student representing 2016-17 batch.
Thank you very much. So on this note, we would like to call on following dignitaries to grace us at the dais. We will start off again with the guest of honor, Senior Professor Udaya Ratnayaka, the Vice Chancellor of Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka at the dais. And also, we would like to invite Professor H.M. Saman K. Herath, the keynote speaker, the Dean, Faculty of Animal Sciences and Export Agriculture, Uvavellas University of Sri Lanka.
We also like to invite the Dean, Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, Professor Shakarna Ratna, to join him at the heads table.
Next, we would like to invite Dr. Amila Bandara, the Symposium Chair, AgSURS 2023.
And also we would like to invite the Symposium Coordinator, Mr. Harshana Galahitigama.
Also, Ms. Malita Tharindi and Mr. Satuta Sellaperuma as the Joint Secretaries of the AgSURS 2023.
We cordially invite Dr. Amila Bandara to accompany the guests to the head table. As our dignitaries have joined us at the head table right here on the stage, now it's time to initiate AgSURS 2023 with the national anthem. Everyone here, take a moment to stand for the national anthem of Sri Lanka.
Namo
The Faculty of Agricultural Sciences is hosting its second annual Undergraduate Research Symposium, AgSURS 2023. The inaugural Undergraduate Research Symposium was conducted last year with a huge success. We are happy to announce that the participation of distinguished guests from a wide range of academic and research institutions throughout the country in this year's AgSURS conference.
To formally welcome all of you for giving us your gift of presence here in this event, I would like to invite Dr. Amila Bandara, the Symposium Chair of AgSURS 2023, to the lectern.
Very good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Our chief guest, Senior Professor R.M. U.S.K. Ratnayaka, the Vice Chancellor, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, the keynote speaker of the symposium, Professor Saman K. Herath, and all the distinguished guests and invitees. It's my privilege to welcome Honorable Chief Guest, Senior Professor R.M. U.S.K. Ratnayaka, the Vice Chancellor, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, for the inaugural session of AgSURS 2023. I'd like to extend a special warm welcome to the keynote speaker of the symposium, Professor Saman K. Herath, Dean, Faculty of Animal Science and Export Agriculture, Uva Wellassa University. I bid very warm welcome to all the deans, directors, heads of the departments, university academics and administrative officers, and all the distinguished guests and invitees from different academic, officials, and industrial disciplines who are joining with us physical and online to the inaugural ceremony. It's my great pleasure to welcome the presenters of the AgSURS 2023 Symposium who are playing the key role in today's event. The AgSURS was initiated in the previous year based on the concept of the Dean of the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, Professor Asha Karunaratne. This is our second undergraduate research symposium. Before winding up the welcome speech, I'd like to brief on behalf of the organizing committee what improvements that we have done in this year for the symposium. This year, the symposium is expanded for a wider audience while offering a scientific and industrial forum for the students to present and discuss their research projects that they worked on in their final year. This year, a remarkable increase in student participation was noticed, where a total of 66 research abstracts are presented in the symposium. All the research abstracts submitted by the students to the symposium were peer-reviewed and are published in the symposium proceedings. AgSURS 2023 is organized with a few novel events, aiming to improve the quality and effectiveness of the symposium. Pre-symposium workshops on effective tips and skills on thesis writing and scientific presentations were organized by the organizing committee to develop the research skills of our students. For the first time in the faculty, a scientific photography competition, image of the research, was opened for undergraduate researchers, highlighting the students' talent in using visual resources in science. This event was organized in collaboration with the Agri Alumni Association. As the organizing committee, we trained 6 students as technical assistants and 22 students as the scientific session assistants, and they all are now well ready to facilitate today's event. AgSURS 2023 is a great teamwork of the organizing committee, Mr. Harshana Galahittigama as symposium coordinator, Ms. Malita Tarindi and Mr. Sathuta Sellaperuma as joint symposium secretaries. I truly thank for their untiring efforts to make this event a great success while believing my vision. My Gratitude also goes to Professor Chandrika Disanayaka, Professor Anil Gunaratna, and Professor Kapila Kumara for chairing the Scientific Committee, Publication Committee, and the Logistic Committee, respectively. The organizing committee is immensely grateful to Avon Pharmochem Private Limited for being the key sponsor of the symposium. The AgSURS 2023 is honored to have Agri-Alumni Association and the AHEAD project as its other partners. I sincerely hope that you all will find this symposium enjoyable and valuable, and wish you all a fruitful academic experience at the AgSURS 2023. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. Agriculture in Sri Lanka has a long and rich history dating back thousands of years. The country's fertile land and tropical climate provide ideal conditions for agriculture, and the sector remains a crucial part of Sri Lanka's economy today.
As a pioneer in the agriculture education, the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences promote new knowledge via research and innovation in agribusiness, crop production and livestock production.
It is my honor to introduce Professor Shakarna Ratna, who is at the helm of our faculty as the Dean. She has a wealth of knowledge and experience in the field of agriculture, and her insights will be both inspiring and informative for all of us gathered here today.
Very good morning to all of you. The Vice Chancellor, Sir, Senior Professor Uday Ratnayaka, our keynote speaker, Professor Saman K. Herath, Dean, Faculty of Animal Science and Export Agriculture, Uvavellasa University, our other deans of the faculties, the distinguished guests, sponsors, dear fellow academics and dear students. Indeed, a great pleasure for me to address you all at this event today, being the second undergraduate symposium of the faculty, AgSURS 2023. As already mentioned by our students, so this is the second one. We initiated the first event in the faculty last year with minimum resources, with very quick idea that came up with the faculty members, so we have to start this at some point. So with a lot of difficulties in the country was in a very severe situation at that time, but we initiated the AgSURS 2022 in the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, providing a path for the students to showcase what they have done. So this is actually, as Professor Dr. Amila mentioned, so we have enhanced from previous year to today's event with several improvements. So I am very happy to see these improvements. Actually, this was handed over to the young staff of the faculty who are very committed and dedicated. Teamwork, I saw very effective teamwork and collaborative work throughout this period. So they have done a marvelous job. So I congratulate the team led by Dr. Amila Bandara to make this event a very success. Right. When we come to this undergraduate research symposium, actually this provides a path for the students to showcase their research findings to a wider audience. So beyond the faculty, beyond their supervisors or examiners, so this is a kind of pre-preparation for the scientific world. So when we consider research, the research can be defined in varying ways in today's world. But when it comes to the scientific research, that has a lot of elements, because the students need to have research design, they have to identify a problem, and there should be hypotheses that can be altered and amended by the researcher, and there are variables that can be measured, evaluated, calculated, then the results, data collection, analysis, and presentation. So those things give a very good training for the students to go along in their path. Maybe a scientist in future, maybe they can go for postgraduate research, they can address the problems in the industry, communities, etc. So in that way, so this is a very good platform for the students to enhance their skills as a foundation. So as we have already heard that this time there are 66 abstracts are presented in different themes over the day, different research themes over the day. And also some of the presentations, I hope if you get chance to view them, they are online also. Our students have produced very good products which can be going to the EU markets as well. So although the undergraduate research is a very simple component, but we train to be a researcher. We don't expect a big outcome. But during that shorter period, they have come across several very important findings to the agriculture sector, as well as to solve the industry problems and serve to the community. So in that sense, I would say that our students belongs to faculty, the degree program of agricultural sciences as well as the food business. So they both doing a very great job in this arena. So the research is in a very high standard at undergraduate level. So I am very proud of that. And when it comes to our theme today, explore the world through the research and innovation. So the research can be led to innovations. So as we know, the innovations needs to have some economic merits, so it should have some novelty and it should produce some sustainable, viable output. So the students are bridging this gap. Nowadays, most of the research are lead into innovation. So we encourage the students to go for innovative ideas, innovation in the research work. So this is what actually I have to say regarding this Undergraduate Research Symposium, AgSURS 2023. So without taking much time, I would like to wish a very success event today, and I wish all the best for our students who are ready to present their findings, not to the staff of the faculty, all the evaluators and chair are from outsiders, so that what we expect, because otherwise it's inbreeding. We know what we have done, our students, we give marks and we give comments, but we want to showcase it to the outsiders. So that is a great achievement that we could get all the members as chairs and panel members outside the faculty. So we expect very constructive and very enthusiasm from the members of the panel and chair to improve the students' skills in future. And this is actually the final year research projects, but undergraduate research doesn't mean that. I would say, if the students are listening, the students can do research at any time from first year up to the end of the duration in the university. Some students have enthusiasm to start their research during their first years also. That is also a good training. When they come to the final year, which is a compulsory component as a honors degree, BSc honors degree, it's a compulsory to have the research component. But the training throughout their degree program, doing mini research, join with supervisors, join with industries. So now the students are in that kind of movement. So thank you very much and wish you all the best for the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam, for your inspiring thoughts.
Next, I cordially invite Dr. Amila Bandara, the Symposium Chair, to hand over the token of appreciation to the Dean, the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences.
Thank you very much, madam. It is said that a giant ship cannot be sailed in rough seas without an experienced captain. If we consider this massive event as a giant ship at a stormy sea, it couldn't have sailed without expertise of the calm and determined personality. He is none other than the Vice Chancellor, the Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, the Senior Professor Udaya Ratnayaka. We cordially invite you to address the gathering.
Today, in this very important gathering, I would like to have your attention for two important points. One is that there is a quote or saying, I can't exactly remember the words, but if I just concern only the meaning, there is a quoting that research is to see the things that everybody has seen before and to think in a different way that nobody has thought before. So if someone see the things that the others already has seen and think differently than others, then that is the starting point or the research. And the second point is, we in universities, in research organizations, we always we talk about creating a research culture in our institutes and also developing it to high level. With keeping those 2 points, first of all, I would like to congratulate and wish all the very best for the undergraduates of the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences who have completed their studies with very important component of final year research of their degree programs successfully. After this training, some of you may join academia, research field, and some of you may join some other fields, especially when it's come to particularly to agriculture graduate. They work in everywhere. So some of you may work in banks, some of you may work in industry, companies, different places. So with the idea that you have, I think at least most of you have right now, with that idea about research, you might think that this doing research will be end up if you are not getting into a particular job like academic field or research field. If you get a job in other field, industry or some other fields, you think that you might not be able to do research. I can see one of my good friend, Kasun, there in the audience. Physically, we are meeting after 20 years. We met in 2023 in University of Peradeniya when we were doing biotechnology masters, and then after at Plant Genetic Resource Center as graduate research assistant, those days for 9,000 salary, if you remember. So we met physically after 20 years. Kasun also may agree with me. Those days we also thought that research mean and research culture mean doing so much of scientific or other research and do publications, going for research conferences, doing presentations. We all thought like that. Until very recent, I also thought like that. I also doing different type of research, and those were recognized by different awards, CVCD awards, World Academy of Science Award, Best Presenter Award. Even very recently, 1 month back, I think, no, last week, NSF asked us to receive an award because they can't have the function because the financial crisis. They just wanted us to come to the office and collect the certificate and award, and CARP award, so many awards, so many publications, and marks for our promotions. After all that, when it comes to this administration field, especially when after become dean and become vice chancellor, I was feeling like before become vice chancellor, I was like at least publishing 1 or 2 papers, most of the time 4 or 6 papers per year at least. But now it's very difficult, hardly 1 paper. I thought my research career is now gone. But at the same time, I thought about that quote which I mentioned at the beginning. Research is to see the things that everybody has seen before and think differently in a different way that nobody has thought before. So then I realized that this can be done in any job without doing this kind of framed research that we were thinking of. So our products, our graduates, whatever the job that you are going in, after this training, you can do research. You can still do research. Some of the research may be very advantageous, very beneficial to the society, sometimes than the research that we publish in the best research journal in the world. Even when it's come to university, I can give some examples if you need. We are facing difficult situation. Now, if you take your own faculty, now because of this crisis situation, we have to think differently, see the same thing and think differently. For example, in last Senate, there was a very good suggestion from the faculty to go for paperless examinations. I would like to thank that idea to Dr. Vijayaratne and others, Professor Vijayaratne and others of this faculty. You have to think differently. You have to think differently than others. When the country is talking about this crisis of supplying eggs, you have thought differently. If the feed is the problem, okay, we'll make feed ourselves, and provide eggs to at least to our community. So you thought differently. Your staff members, they thought differently. When it's come to the problem of limited hostels and high number of students due to the legitimate requirement. We can't say that, we can't say, okay, we don't have hostels. Dear students, we don't have hostels, please be at home. When others graduate and when the hostels are vacated, we will take you in. We can't say like that. Why? The people of this country appointed these vice chancellors and all to think differently and solve these problems. So we thought differently, and everybody supported us. They prepared so many ways and means, documents and all. We now anyhow, with thanks to this COVID-19 created online education, we are now managing and we are saving the time, very important time of youngsters. When it's come to the financial crisis, any vice chancellor or dean or anyone can't say that we don't have finance, we don't have money to do the things, so please wait, or we can't pass the ball. We can't say, the staff members can't say just because we don't have money, head of department is responsible. Then head of department can say, it's dean is the responsible. Dean can say vice chancellor is the responsible. Vice chancellor can say the UGC is responsible. UGC can say ministry is the responsible. Ministry can say the cabinet is the responsible or the government is responsible, but the problem is still there. People of this country appointed us not to pass the ball. We have to face the challenge and think differently and do our research. So we have done our research. When we have a problem of financing to construct buildings, even your faculty building also, it has slow progress. It's very, not very slow, but some slow progress. We can't say that, we can't blame anyone. We can't ask student, okay, you go and bring money from the government. We can't ask student to do that. We have been appointed to do that. So we have to do that. So we have to think differently. And anyhow, we will do that. We will manage together. We have very committed young and senior staff with us. And I request all the students to get this experience, not only the subject matter you learn matter. You have to see how your seniors, your staff members, your dean, your head of department, how they manage the situation. You have to learn from that. You have to do research on that. And also you have to learn how they do research in their particular job. Those are not published research, or those are not published in journals, but those are very important research. So you have to learn all these things. Though I say that the limited funding for your faculty building, even today we are going to give 50 million to the construction company. We will give 50 million today. So we actually try very hard and do that. But we together, we have to do that. We have to do research in our particular fields. When it's come to the financial crisis, companies like yours, you have to think differently, otherwise your company will not be exist in this world after maybe like 1 or 2 months. So I request all these undergraduates who are going to be graduates within a very short period of time to do research. Though those research are publishable, or not publishable, do research in your particular field that you engage after this training, which are very important for the society. Don't just be there doing the same thing that the others did before. See the things that others did before and think differently, and do the change in your particular field that you are going to be engaged in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. This is the high time to launch the Book of Abstract. So I cordially invite our VC sir to launch the Book of Abstract of AgSURS 2023.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we cordially invite Professor Asha Karunaratne to hand over the token of appreciation to Vice Chancellor.
Thank you, madam. The role of research is to create new knowledge scientifically, and it allows us to arrive at conclusions based on observations and experiments. Although a different protocols, methodologies are applied in research with certain assumptions, a question arises whether all the adopting practices are in line with an acceptable ethical framework.
To elaborate further on the topic, application of ethics in research conduct and publication, we respectfully invite Professor H.M. Saman K. Herath to deliver the keynote speech of AgSURS 2023.
We cordially invite Senior Professor L.P. Vidhanaraj to introduce Professor H.M. Saman K. Herath to the audience.
Very good morning, all of you. Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Udaya Ratnayaka, our Faculty Dean, Professor Asha Karunaratne, and Head of the Departments, and Professors, other Professors and Senior Professors, and my colleagues. I have really great pleasure and my privilege to introduce Professor Saman Herath as a keynote speaker of this symposium. Professor Saman Herath attached to Faculty of Animal Science and Sport Agriculture, Uvellasa, University of Sri Lanka. Please, let me brief his academic profile, academic career, and his caliber, what he gained during his academic career development. Okay. Then Professor Saman Herath has been graduated in 2003 with BSc degree in Agricultural Sciences with the second class upper division from the Faculty of Agricultural Science, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka. We are very proud to say that he is our product. In 2006, he was able to complete his master degree in physical land resources, majoring in soil science with the distinction from the Ghent University in collaboration with University of Belgium. Thereafter, he earned his PhD in soil science from the Massey University, New Zealand in 2012. Also, he has obtained a postdoctoral training as a visiting research fellow attached to the Lanka University, China in the year 2018. Professor Hera possessed numerous scientific publications at well-recognized with high impact index journals in his field of interest, and overall his contribution to different types of research publication account more than 100 papers. Moreover, he has been author for 2 books published related to the discipline of soil science. Professor Heras has been granted several outstanding awards. Among them, the main one of the President Awards in 2014, 2015, and NRC Merit Awards in 2012, 2013, 2016 and 2017. Vice Chancellor's Award for the Most Outstanding Research Senior Researcher 2016 in Lanka University. His PhD thesis was recognized as the exceptional PhD thesis and included in his Dean's list in Massey University in New Zealand in the year 2013. Further, Professor Saman Herat has received Lanka University Research Award for scientific publication in index journals in 2013, 14, 15, 16 and 2017. He is recognized as the Tier 4 researcher in the Sri Lankan university system as per the H index, and his scientific contribution has been cited more than 1,500 times so far. Professor Herat mainly worked on soil carbon dynamics and plant nutrient management. He has involved in conducting many research projects with both local and foreign peer researchers. Also, he contributes for postgraduate supervision in the field of soil science. Currently, Professor Herat serves as a capacity of the Dean, Faculty of Animal Science and Sport Agriculture, Lanka University. Also, he serves as Chairman, Agriculture Development Forum, and Chairman, Research Ethics Committee, Lanka University. Professor Heras is the founder, editor-in-chief of the Journal of Agricultural and Value Addition, which is published biannually by the Faculty of Animal Science and Sport Agriculture, Lanka University. Overall, he has provided his service to the Lanka University and external entities with his capacity in numerous ways, with the aim of contributing to national and international development. Professor Hera, we are very happy and we are very much proud to introduce you as a keynote speaker of our undergraduate research symposium. You are our products. You are really nationally and internationally accepted eminent scientists, we know that. Currently, you are the Dean of Animal Science and Faculty of Animal Science and Sport Agriculture. There is no doubt. You will be recently outstanding administrator, not only the research field. Then also, we are proud to say we are really, again, you will be the near future. You will be the Vice Chancellor of the Lanka University. We wish you all. Okay, we are very happy to mention about that. Then finally, We are greatly appreciate your contribution and really accepting our invitation to deliver your invaluable keynote to our undergraduate symposium. Thank you very much.
Okay, very good morning, everybody. Senior Professor Uday Ratnayaka, Vice Chancellor, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka. All the deans, including Professor Asha Karunaratne, Dean Faculty of Agricultural Sciences and Sciences, Sabaragamuwa University. And all the invitees, guests, and dear colleagues, and more importantly, dear students. Thank you very much for inviting me, and also thank you very much for the great introduction that was given a little while ago. So let me congratulate for the second undergraduate research symposium, which is organized by the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, Sabaragamuwa University. And also, I consider this as an honor and also a privilege that I got in my life as a career and as a student who is passed out from this faculty and the university. So I can remember the time actually I entered the university in 1998. So we went to Rahangala. So there are some colleagues, some friends from our batches and the near batches. So it was a very different story. So over the last 20 years, actually now it is 20 years from the time that I passed out from this university. So in Rahangala we had the unique culture. And also, we had a very good relationship with the staff and the students. Therefore, I think we progressed a lot, but with some minimum resources. So by that time, actually, we had just one professor who was also the dean of the faculty. But by now, we have, I think, here 20 plus professors, which is a remarkable achievement during last 20 years, 20 plus years. So if you take the whole time, I think it is 30 years. Because in 1992, the faculty was started as an affiliated university, and then it was converted to a national university in 1996. We entered the university in 1998, and we graduated in the year 2003. So in 2001, we were shifted to these premises. There were so many difficulties at that time, I can remember. I was in the third year, and in the first lecture, Asha Madam was delivering and she came to the lecture. One thing, there was no sufficient number of chairs there. Then we had to wait until the other lecture was finished to get some chairs. And also, I can remember another thing. We were using those OHPs. At that time, there were no, these multimedia things. And there were no transparent sheets. Professor Mahaliana Arachi had taken 2 OHPs from Rahangala to here, and we were using one. But unfortunately, we didn't have transparencies to put on the OHP. Then she was writing something with the marker pen on the, the screen or the glass of this OHP. So that's how we managed. And then, in 2001, we came here and we had to struggle. Our super juniors were started for the first time, and after a few months, we were taken here. But after that, I think the faculty has progressed with remarkable achievements, both HR resources for human resources and also the physical resources. A very good building complex is being constructed now. So, after a few years or within a short time period, so that will be open for the use by you, the undergraduates, and also the other people. So then I think the most of the basic requirements needed for a faculty, I think will be there. So we can be happy. So being outside actually as the alumni, we are very happy about this progress, and we wish and we, add our greetings all the time for the betterment of the faculty and overall the university. And I take this opportunity again to extend the gratitudes and the wishes of the alumni, because there's a representation here for this great event. These should be, conducted. So that is how a university should progress. To progress, I think we have to think of the teaching learning activities. So that will be the main thing. And at the same time, we have to focus on the research activities. And thirdly, we have to think of the social responsibilities, so the community services activities that a university should do. So I think in all three, now Sabaragamuwa University has been performing very well during last 20 or 30 years. So that is appreciated. So without taking much time, I think I would like to come to the title that I have selected here to address or to discuss in this great occasion. So I was thinking what I should really talk here. So I should have easily taken one technical paper and present something. My area is soil science, so if it is further taken, then it will be like soil carbon dynamics, but that will be favored only to one particular group. Then I thought it should be the thing, so I thought I should bring a title which is important for a majority of the audience. Therefore, I selected this title, Application of Ethics in Research Conductance and Publication. And more importantly, this will be important for the young, these budding scientists, because you are about to start your career. And at least some of you will do research, being researchers or as academicians. Therefore, you should learn how you should do the things properly. So with those two objectives, I selected this title. So I will present some important things in simple words, actually, especially targeting these undergraduates. Application of ethics in research conductance and also in publication. The research process, if you take as a whole, doing research does not mean that you have completed the process. So definitely you have to publish something. So starting from the planning up to the publication, the whole process is actually called as the researching. Therefore, we have to focus on this, we have to think of this, and the most important thing is how we should do all this. So these are governed by these research ethics. So if you don't follow research ethics, then you will do whatever you want to do. But we have to be in a frame, we should be governed by kind of rules and regulations, otherwise there will not be a control. So I will come to the area later, why actually we wanted to have research ethics. So these are the things that I will be covering in this keynote speech. Something related to research ethics, that will be the main thing, and the historical events that led to have research ethics, and then the ethical codes and regulations that were introduced as an effect of these unethical activities or the experiments held in past. And then actually what are the experiments that you should know that you have to get the ethical clearance. And finally, the most important thing is the ethical principles. Ethical principles are the things that actually you should know, then you can think how you should do in research in future, and finally some conclusive statements. So as Vice Chancellor was also saying something about research, research is the only way to generate new knowledge. If you don't do research, so we'll be stuck in one point, there will not be a progress in the research. Therefore, we should make sure that we do research. The other only way is the spiritual practices. If you do that, you can generate new knowledge, but this is the thing that I think we can do as the general people. The objective of the research is to do, or is to extend the human knowledge beyond what is already known or what is already existing. So people are doing research all over the world with the purpose of this extending the existing knowledge. So you all are, as researchers, I think, contributing to this need. So I have just taken one example just to show you now the present status. If you go to Web of Science, you can see that how the different disciplines or areas contribute in research. So if you take 1,000 years before, hundreds years before, we didn't have this much of diversity in research. But now we are well focused. There are so many areas. There you can see how the research contributes, and actually this represents how the articles are available in Web of Science, which is a very good platform for publishing research. Ethics. Before coming to ethics, actually we should know what are, before coming to research ethics, actually we should know what are ethics. Ethics gives a clue or kind of direction on what is right and what is wrong, or rightness and wrongness. If you want to demarcate these two, you should have a kind of criteria or some guidelines. So people accept some societal norms as a group, and then they practice these things in the society. So we have to adapt this into the research, being in the whole process that I explained earlier. Planning up to the publishing. Okay. And if somebody behaves ethically, so that means you do the things right at the right time. So this is important, I think, not only in research, in any aspect or in any area, we should make sure that we do the right things at the right time. Otherwise, we won't be able to have good products or a productive outcome. And also ethics provides rules that govern the society as a whole. So this is very important. Research ethics, so this is the main thing that I really wanted to talk. So application of different principles that have been already identified in the whole research process is considered under these research ethics, from planning and then conductance and up to the publications. So as I told before, doing research does not mean the whole process. You should make sure that you publish, otherwise nobody will accept that you have done the things. So in research, research ethics actually provide the guidelines for the responsible conduct of research. So this is the thing that we should think about. Otherwise, people will do whatever they want to do. We cannot do in such a way. We should adhere to certain guidelines and kind of a framework that is accepted all over the world. And also, it is the responsibility of the researchers to develop by themselves and make sure that they contribute to the progress of the research as well. Otherwise, what we think is, we do research and the things just for getting publications or getting patents and so on, but it does not mean here. So you should make sure that you progress over the time. And when you progress, you can see that there's a progress in the research itself. Actually, we should focus on the progress of the research. Then you can see your progress as well. These are interlinked. These are interconnected. So as responsible people, actually, we have to work on this. Why research ethics are needed? This should be the thing that everybody should, have an idea at the beginning. The first and the foremost is to protect the participants, the society, the resources, and also the researchers. Because in the research process, all these belong to this whole process. So if anyone is harmed, then we haven't done the right job. Therefore, we should make sure that we protect the participants. And also to ensure the accuracy of the scientific knowledge. Publishing something is not actually the ultimate objective. You should make sure that you publish the right knowledge to the final audience or the third party. And finally, to protect the intellectual property rights. So there will be so many intellectual properties. We will discuss on this later. So these are the main things that we expect, the following research ethics. There were certain incidences, maybe decades ago, a few decades ago. So they were based, of course, to have the research ethics in the research world. One clear or one prominent example is this Nazi medical experiment, which was conducted in 1933 to 1945 by some Nazi medical doctors or the Third Reich in Europeans. They wanted to produce some pure Germans and Aryans. So they did some unethical experiments. They did sterilization, euthanization, without taking the consent of the participants. There were lots of damages, there were lots of harm to the people. This is another example, that is a Tuskegee syphilis study. You know syphilis, it's a venereal disease. So that was conducted in 1932, and it went for 40 years. At the end of, they published the findings of this research. But the thing is, they conducted this experiment by force. They got the male black people into the experiment, and they did different activities unethically, and at the end they published, and by last year it celebrated 50 years of publishing these results. There are some other studies also I have just taken here too. One is the Willowbrook study, and there's another chronic Jewish study. Like that, there are 9-10 studies that actually led to have some ethical codes and some guidelines into the research. So unethical studies like the two I explained, they led to the development of ethical codes and regulations which the people should now practice if you are expecting to continue in research. These are some ethical codes actually came to the picture, or came to the research world after these unethical studies. One is the Nuremberg Code, introduced in 1947. So it has 10 guidelines specially focusing to the human participants. So you should make sure that you get the consent of the people if you are using human being in your experiments, and you should make sure that you do the minimum harm or risk, and you should make sure that you give the maximum benefits to the participants. So like that, there are so many considerations. There are 10 guidelines in this Nuremberg. The second one that was introduced in 1979, that is called the Bellman Report. That has also 3 main principles. So that also has focused on the participants in the research, especially the human being. And the American Psychological Association Guide, that is another one. So that mainly focused on psychological and physical disorders caused in research. So if you are going to do some research using especially the human being. So with all this, so what is clear is, now we cannot do research as we want. There are certain guidelines and regulations that actually we have to follow, we have to think of, otherwise you will be quoted. So by the time of publication now, if you have used, I will come to the details later. So if you have used like human participants, animal participants, you should show that you have taken the ethical clearance from a recommended body of this ethical clearance issuing. So that is a must now, otherwise you cannot publish your findings. So what needs actual ethical approval? This is the most important thing. We should have an idea, how we recognize the research work, that we should get the clearance, ethical clearance. One is the human participants, that is the most important thing. And second thing is, if you use the products of human being, again, you have to make sure that you have taken the ethical clearance. And also the work that potentially impacts on the human participants. For example, we can remember the last 2 to 3 years, we had this corona, the COVID-19, in different areas of the world, people were trying to produce vaccines. So we know that giving vaccines to people can cause different side effects or some other harms. Therefore, if you do something focusing the people, then you should make sure that you get the clearance, ethical approval. And animal participants, this actually came to the research world in the recent past. Before, mainly the people focused on the human being, but now it has changed. Now we are talking about the animal rights, animal welfare and all, because we consider we should pay something similar attention on these animal participants as well. And there are some other occasions, for example, research related to environment, plants. So they are not exactly the ethical clearance, but you have to get some approval from certain governing bodies. So these are, anyway, the overall, we should have an idea that if you're supposed to conduct a research, we have to get the ethical approval or the clearance. Then we will see what are the ethical principles. This is the most important or the core of my presentation. I just wanted to emphasize some key areas that you have to focus on, especially this will be helpful for the undergraduates. Honesty. So we see honesty is a very, very rare quality of the people. So if you go, out of the research, if you just consider the general world or the general public or the general people, you can see that, this is, vanishing now. So in research also, we should make sure that we do the things respecting the honesty. It includes all the activities you do in research, right from the planning up to the publication. There are so many involvements. You have to use methods, procedures, and different things. You should make sure that you do the things in the right way. I can remember when I was in New Zealand doing my PhD, there was one student who was doing a PhD parallel with me. So he said one day to me, normally I don't run replicates, 3 replicates. He said, I normally measure for 2 replicates, and then I create the third one using the first 2, taking the average. So which is not accepted actually in research. So we should make sure that we do the right things, because whatever the knowledge we provided at present will be the link to the future from the past. Therefore, it is the duty of everybody to do so. Researchers should not falsify. You cannot change the things, that are originally available. And you cannot fabricate, you cannot create new things. Only thing is you have to report the outcomes or the outputs of your work and misrepresent. So we mostly talk about this representation in research and probabilities and, the basic things, we have to respect them because these are very important in research culture. Second thing is the objectivity. Sometimes people are very subjective. So we have to avoid subjectivity, but we should focus on the objectivity in research. There shouldn't be any kind of bias in research. You cannot select as you want. Always you should have a very good justification for your all activities that you do maybe in experimental design, data analysis, interpretation of the things, and peer reviewing process, and also in grant writing and other all stages of the research. It's a complicated thing, but we should make sure that we do the right thing. This is very important. Confidentiality. This is another principle that is taken as under this research or ethical principles. We should make sure that we protect what we have collected, and we should make sure that we submit papers with the quality, but we have to actually decide what we should report and what we should not report. For example, there could be some research. We collect data from a particular group of people. Then, we can write some research communications and publish. But we cannot communicate the raw information to a third party without getting the permission from the original, those participants. So sometimes people do in that way. So confidentiality is important, especially recording the details and storing them, and they should be protected, they should be stored properly. Competency, this is another thing. So we have seen that people sometimes do research, but they don't know whether they have the required competence. So it is the duty actually by doing research to progress the existing knowledge. Therefore, we should make sure that we have the background sufficiently to do the work, to progress this research in the given discipline. So researchers should maintain and improve their professional competence and expertise through lifelong education and learning. So we cannot stop somewhere. So with the progress of the research, so it comes to us as well, we should make sure that we are progressing. Otherwise, we shouldn't do research. This is very important. Vice Chancellor was telling about this. So if you go for administration, what happens is you lose one part, especially this research. But that is the realistic situation. And researchers should take the steps to promote the competence in science. Actually, that is the base. We should make sure that we promote the competency of science, and when you do that, automatically you will get your own competence and you will progress. Integrity. We have to keep some promises and honor agreements that we already have, maybe with the donor agents, or maybe with the research participants, or maybe with the journals. There could be many agreements, so we should respect them. We cannot break them. And we should make sure that we strive for the consistency in thought and action. යථාවාදී තථාකාරී කියන දේ කරන දේ කියන. එහෙම නැතිනොත් we think something else, but when it comes to the field of the research, we do something else. So there could be a mismatch that has to be avoided. That is not respected in research. We can apply this one to the general life as well. Thought and action. Legality. Nobody can go beyond the legal framework of a country. So everybody should be under the legal framework that is accepted by a particular country. So we should obey these laws and relevant institutional and governmental policies. So law will be the top, and under that there will be some other governing rules and regulations, at least the bylaws. When it comes to universities, we know that there are so many bylaws or some guidelines, so we have to respect them. And we have to do the research being in this framework. Research always has a legal dimension, so we should be there and we should make sure that we respect the laws. And the maturity and openness, this is very important, maturity. So maybe the people will mature with the age, but it does not mean that you're really matured. So maturity comes with your experience and your exposure and how you react to the situations, how you deal with the people, how you deal with the world and all. So all those are important there. In research, the other important thing is we have to be very open. So sometimes in the Southeast Asia or South Asia, Asian countries, we see that sometimes people are not so open in research. They don't like to share the things. But when you go to the developed countries, maybe in Europe or Australia, New Zealand, we see that people are very open in research. Even they would like to share their unpublished data, but we don't do in that way. So that openness is very important. Researchers must willingly share data, results, ideas, and resources. And also, they must be open to constructive criticisms and also the new ideas. So then only you can show that you progress with all these. Respect for intellectual properties. There are so many intellectual properties. So at the end of your results, you will come with one of these or many of these. So we should make sure that we respect and we honor the copyrights, patents, and other forms of intellectual properties that are resulted at the end. And we should not use methods, data, and results owned by other researchers without giving the due respect or the credit. So we call it as the plagiarism. So I think everybody is aware of that, especially the young scientist, you have to be very, careful on this. Now, the plagiarism is discussed all over the world. That is being checked. So you cannot do as you want. Maybe 2-3 decades ago, there were no online facilities for checking this, but it is checked now. Therefore, we cannot do as we want. So we have to grab the idea. We should not copy as the word by word, to our documents. We can get the ideas and we have to report, but at the same time, we should make sure that we give the due respect to the original people by citations. So stop plagiarism. That is not accepted under ethical guidelines or principles. Responsible in publication. This is the most important thing. So we may do research some way or other, and at the end, when you comes to the final part, publication, it's actually a complex process. For example, if you submit an article to a journal is there, we are authors, and there are reviewers as well. So it should be an integrative process of all these three parties. There should be a very good understanding and collaboration to have a very good publication. Sometimes people manipulate. I have one experience regarding this one also. 2 years ago, I think one Indian wrote me an email saying that, sir, I have submitted one article to a particular journal and I have nominated you as one reviewer. Please do favor for me, which cannot be accepted. You can name the reviewers, but you cannot, contact the reviewers and, ask them to do favor for you. So that is not possible. And sometimes we see that people do double publishing. The same article is published in 2 journals. Even the journals do, some clone journals. Original journal is there. There will be an exactly similar, or maybe in the format, another journal that is, we call clone journal. There are so many things that we have to think in publishing. So publishing in order to advance knowledge and not just to advance one's own career. The basic, actually, the responsibility is progressing the science, not progressing individuals. But when science is progressing, definitely the people will progress. So that should be the thing I think we should do and we should respect. Researchers also need to avoid wasteful publication. This is another thing. So now there are huge numbers of journals. They are called predatory or fake journals. They are not recognized as, recognized journals. So if you submit an article today, maybe after another 2-3 days, that will appear. So they are not recognized as very good journals. So in publishing, especially these young people should be aware of that. And if you are not familiar with the journals, please get the advice from the senior staff, senior people. They will help you in selecting good journals. Non-discrimination. You cannot discriminate anyone at any stage when you do research. This is a basic principle in ethics. Avoid all forms of discrimination against colleagues and students, especially when we do some research with students and staff. There's a hierarchical difference already, especially in the countries like us. Then there'll be some gaps, there'll be some issues. Therefore, especially we have to think on this. So I will give another example again. In New Zealand, when I was there, one Indian student was doing a PhD. So he had gone 1 year before me. He had started and he has produced some products. They wanted to claim for patents and they had applied, but supervisor had taken 90% of the ownership and the student had been given just 10%. The student had done the whole work, but then there was huge, conflicts, arguments, and finally, so I came back, but that student was, he was there. He was asked to continue for another year because of this conflict. And after another year, I came to know that the student has asked him to go with a master degree. He has not agreed to give the PhD. So there could be many issues, coming to the stage when people deal. So if you don't have a very good understanding on your work, on your commitment and responsibility, there will be issues created or creating. Senior researchers need to help educate, mentor, and advise the students. That is the role actually. We have a responsibility to guide in all aspects because they are learners and they are learning the process of research. So it is the duty to show them the right way and how we should really do it in reality. And also we should allow them to make decisions in research. So we should not train them as technicians. So it is not our duty to produce technicians, but to produce new scientists. Therefore, we should have that guidance, directions, and all the support needed. Human subjects. Actually, ethics are mostly discussed related to the human participants, mostly. Therefore, when we take human participants into our research work, we have to pay extra attention on this. There could be some vulnerable people, for example, elderly people, or maybe disabled people, or even children, like that. So if you use those kind of special participants, we have to pay extra attention on this. So we should make sure that we respect human dignity, privacy, autonomy in all the times of this whole research process. And we should take the precautionary measures to minimize, if you cannot completely avoid, at least to minimize harms and risks. And at the same time, we should make sure that we do the best to maximize the benefits given to the participants. So that should be the objective, and this is very important when you use human participants. Animal care. As I told before, attention to the animals came to the research world a few years ago, a few decades ago. Before that, we did anything we wanted to do. But you cannot do in that. There are many organizations, number of people talking about animal rights and the things. Therefore, we have to think about this. We have to show utmost care for the animals when using them in research. This is very important. The other important thing is researchers should not conduct unnecessary or poorly designed animal experiments using animals. We have to respect the 3 R's. So I think you're familiar with this one thing, the replacing the animals or the replace of the use of animals whenever possible. If you can do the research without using animals, you have to go there and reduce the number of animals needed to minimum. If you can reduce, let's say you have taken 100 animals for the experiment, but if you can do the same using 30 animals, you should go to the 30, something like that. And refine, test to cause animals the least amount of distress. This is very important in animal-related research. So I have just included this one. Now, in the country, people are talking about this, monkeys, local monkeys. So there are, both sides arguments, but from the researchers' points of view, the opinion would be different. So I let you to think, so you just decide about that. Social responsibility. This is the final and the most another important aspect that we have to think in ethics, research ethics. The ultimate objective of our struggle should be to promote social goodness and mitigate social harms. Doing research should be to give something to the society. For example, if somebody wants to produce bioweapons, you have to do some research. But it cannot be considered under this ethical framework because the final objective is different. That will harm the society. Therefore, in our research, the basic and the most important thing is we should make sure that at the end, we give something to the society. Researchers should conduct research not only for the advancement of their career, as I told before, but also for the goodness of the society as a whole. So this is the message actually that I just want to deliver especially to these youngsters. So if you are supposed to join as researchers or as academicians in future, you should focus and you should think that you have to do research for the betterment of the people or as a whole, the society. So overall, what we can come to related to these ethics or applications of ethics in research is that they govern the standards of conduct in scientific research. If you don't follow them, you will be going somewhere else. You will not be in the right direction. It is important to adhere to the ethical principles in order to protect the dignity, rights, and welfare of the research participants. So that should be the thing actually we should pay attention there. So in relation to the title that I've given at the beginning, so these are the main things that I just wanted to focus with this limited time, but this is a huge area. So you have to learn, you have to read, and when you do, of course, you will learn the things. So by doing, I think you have to learn what you should really do. So these are related to my contact details. And as I told before at the beginning, I'm very happy about the progress of the faculty and also the university. Our wishes are always with the faculty and the university. So we will extend our support, whenever it is needed. We are working as alumni. So in future, I think we can do a lot being together. So we work for that. And it is the duty of the undergraduates. So when you go out, I have to say one thing before winding. You take the image of the university. Therefore, please make sure that wherever or whenever you go, you take a good image to the outside. Outsiders will see you with the name of the university, not by your name sometimes. I have experienced that. So if you can say, very well that I am a product of Sabaragamuwa, and if people respect that, so that is the thing I think that everybody can do for the university. And to do that, you have to develop your competence. This is very important. Knowledge will be provided from the university. Subject-oriented skills will be provided by the university. But at the same time, you should make sure that you develop the other skills needed to survive in any environment. Maybe soft skills and some other, the leadership skills, team working. There are so many things that you have to develop. So make sure that when you pass out, you are going with all these. And on top of that, the most important thing is the positive attitudes. So if you have, let's say, though you have knowledge and skills, but if you are not having the right attitudes or the positive attitudes, you cannot survive in one place. Therefore, dear students, so we propose, so we urge you to develop all these and have a good competence and do your best for the country and beyond that is expected by the people. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ethics, being a topic which is not widely discussed at undergraduate level, we believe that your speech has provided a detailed insight on the importance of ethics in research.
Thanking the keynote speaker once again, we cordially invite the Vice Chancellor, the Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, to hand over the token of appreciation to the Professor H.M. Saman K. Herath.
Thank you very much, sir. As you will be witnessing later, AgSURS 2023 will be disseminating research knowledge related to 66 undergraduate researchers under 11 thematic areas covering agribusiness, crop production, and livestock production. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now move to the research highlights of AgSURS 2023.
AgSURS 2023 Agricultural Sciences Undergraduate Research Symposium. The symposium provides a great platform to make you aware of all the outstanding research projects completed by our undergraduates, and this is also a great opportunity for them to showcase their talents, knowledge, and research skills to a wider research community. Explore the world through research and innovations. Research highlights. Crop production technology, plant nutrients and soil science, agri-environmental modeling, plant breeding and biotechnology, plant protection, livestock production and food safety. aquaculture, food processing and post-harvest technology, agricultural economics and agribusiness management. Faculty of Agricultural Sciences proudly presents its second Undergraduate Research Symposium. Join us at the technical sessions. We wish all the presenters good luck and a bright future. Thank you.
This time in AgSURS 2023, we have newly introduced a scientific photography competition with the purpose of highlighting the student talents in using visual resources in sciences. So we are glad to take this opportunity to award certificates and cash prizes to the winners of this photography competition.
We respectfully invite the Vice Chancellor of Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka to award the certificates and Mr. Nalin Dhammika Mahagama, the President of the Agri Alumni Association, to award the cash prize for the winners.
The winner of the competition under the category Science of Plant goes to RLH Lenora. The winner under the category of Science of People goes to HAGK Satsarani. The winner under the category of Science of Animal goes to MS Arthupol. Thank you very much, sirs. Today, we are witnessing the success of AgSURS 2023, but the way to it was tedious. Without the energy and momentum created by the leader, this would not have become a success. So let me invite the person who held onto the helm in the middle of all difficulties throughout the journey, Dr. Amila Bandara, the chair, AgSURS 2023, onto the stage.
I would like to cordially invite Professor Asha Karunaratne, the Dean, Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, to hand over the token of appreciation to Dr. Amila Bandara, admiring her dedication. Thank you very much, Madam. We request Dr. Amila Bandara to remain on the stage.
Now it's time to hand over the token of appreciation for the sponsors. I would like to cordially invite Dr. Amila Bandara, the conference chair, AgSURS 2023, to hand over the token of appreciation to the main sponsor, Mr. Dilip Fernando, CEO of Avon Pharmachem Private Limited. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Nalin Dhammika Mahagamage, President, Agri Alumni Association, to collect the token of appreciation for sponsorship given by the association. Thank you very much, Madam. The AgSURS 2023 is a massive event. This massive event would not have become a success without an extensive collaboration and coordination from all parties of this conference. So we herewith hand over the podium to Ms. Malita Tharindi to deliver the vote of thanks.
Very good morning to you all. Guest of honor, Senior Professor Uday Ratnayaka, the Vice Chancellor of Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, Professor H.M.S.K. Herath, Dean, Faculty of Animal Sciences and Export Agriculture, and the keynote speaker of the session, Professor Asha Karunaratne, Dean of the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, Chairperson of the Symposium, Dr. R.M. Amila S. Bandara, Deans of the other faculties, and the directors of the centers of the university, all heads of the departments, all the other academic staff members, librarian, symposium coordinator, joint secretary, students, and ladies and gentlemen. We have now reached the conclusion of the inaugural ceremony of the second Undergraduate Research Symposium of the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, AgSURS 2023. As the secretary of the symposium, it is my privilege to express our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has contributed to the success of this event. Firstly, I would like to express our gratitude to our guest of honor, Professor Uday Ratnayaka, Vice Chancellor of Sabaragamuwa University of Sri Lanka, for his esteemed presence. We extend our sincere thanks to our keynote speaker, Professor H.M.S.K. Herath. Your insightful talk on the application of ethics in research conduct and publication was truly enlightening and will undoubtedly prove invaluable to our young academics and student researchers. We owe a profound debt of gratitude to the Dean of the Faculty, Professor Asha Karunaratne. Her initiative and guidance throughout the preparation of the symposium, right up to the very last moment, have been truly invaluable. I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to the diligent members of our symposium organizing committees. This includes the Editor-in-Chief, Professor Chandrika Disanayaka, as well as the valued members of the editorial committee. I also acknowledge the publication committee led by Professor Anil Gunaratne, the fundraising committee under the direction of Dr. Dimuthu Vikramanayaka, and the logistic committee steered by Professor Kapila Kumara. Their collective efforts under the inclusive leadership of the conference chairperson have been instrumental in the success of this event. This year, we have been received with an impressive volume of abstracts. Therefore, I extend my deepest thanks to all the internal and external reviewers who ensured a timely and meticulous review of the abstract to achieve a high-quality output. In addition, I am grateful for the copy editors, Mr. Sudanta Senadira, Ms. Hasanti Vijayavanta, Ms. Miurangi Jayasingha, and the entire scientific committee and editorial board. Their tireless efforts have led to the production of an exceptional abstract book. I extend my profound gratitude to the expert resource individuals who made significant contributions to the pre-symposium workshops. Our heartfelt thanks goes to Dr. Rasika Priyankara, Professor Chandramali Jayavardhana, and Dr. Sampath Hapuarachi for their invaluable insights and expertise. At this juncture, I wish to acknowledge the reckless effort of our technical arrangement team, spearheaded by Mr. Sathuta Sellaperuma. The unwavering dedication of the team, including all the demonstrators and research assistants from the faculty who worked tirelessly day and night, has been instrumental in making this event a success. Moreover, my sincere gratitude extends to all the session coordinators and rapporteurs for their valuable contributions to the symposium. We will host 11 technical sessions, each chaired by experts in their respective fields of specialization, assisted by 11 rapporteurs, 7 coordinators, and numerous session assistants and technical assistants. I want to express my appreciation for their support and wish them successful execution of the sessions. Further, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all the session chairs and panel members who have taken the effort to physically join us here, adding grace to the symposium. Equally, my gratitude goes out to all the panel members joining us virtually from academia and industry despite their tight schedules. We are grateful to Mr. Anura Gunaratne, Technical Officer, the Audiovisual Unit, and the technical staff from the Faculty of Geomatics and facilitating the online YouTube streaming. Creative and technical support given by Mr. Helithaniya Malgoda and Mr. Supun Dhananjay has been instrumental in making this event a success. Our thanks extend to Mr. Dineshika Dharmapala, Assistant Registrar of the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, and all the members of our institution for their help in ensuring the smooth functioning of the symposium. We are also thankful to the Staff Development Center, Center for Research and Knowledge Dissemination, Guest House, Curator, for their various forms of support. A huge thank to our key sponsor, Avon Pharmachem Limited, for generously supporting the symposium event and dinner. Accordingly, we extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. J.B.D.A.P. Kumara, Head of the Department of Export Agriculture and Coordinator of the Department Head Project, for providing critical funding for the symposium. We are equally grateful to Professor Sunetra Gunatilaka, Director of OTS, for her timely and efficient facilitation of this process. Additionally, we owe a special debt of gratitude to Agri Alumni Association, an invaluable pillar of our faculty. Their generous financial support has made possible the scientific photography competition and the cash prizes for the winners, serving to inspire and motivate our younger generation. We are deeply appreciative for their continued support and engagement. Our gratitude extends to our undergraduates for their assistance in the technical sessions, their participation for the cultural performances, and their contribution as session presenters. We also thank our non-academic staff members for their cooperation and support. Most importantly, we appreciate the presenters whose valuable research findings added color and glamour to the symposium and will be a highlight of the technical sessions in this afternoon. At the heart of this event, we were a united team striving to ensure this success. Profound gratitude goes to Dr. Amila Bandara, the Symposium Chair, Mr. Harshana Galahitigama, the Symposium Coordinator, and Mr. Sattuta Sellaperuma, the Joint Secretary. Their unwavering dedication and commitment were the driving forces behind the symposium's success. Without such a committed team, this event would not have reached the heights it did. In conclusion, we once again thank everyone for their cooperation, contributions, and active participation in making this symposium a resounding success. Your efforts will be remembered as an integral part of this event's success history. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Gradually, we have arrived at the end of the inauguration session of AgSURS 2023, the Undergraduate Research Symposium of Faculty of Agricultural Sciences.
We thank everyone for participation in the inauguration, and we have few announcements.
The morning refreshments are arranged at lecture hall number 7. You all are invited at the lecture hall number 7 for the refreshments after this. And also the sessions will be started at 11:30 after the refreshments. We invited everybody to join the sessions, and before leaving the auditorium, you all are invited to have a commemorative photo.
Making the winding up of AgSURS 2023 inauguration, we invite everybody to rise for the National University song.
Saviyai, me mage saviyai, Sabaragamuwa sarsaviyai, Sabaragamuwa sarsaviyai. සමනලව පිපි නිලුම් නෙලාගෙන ගිරිකුළුවන රද මතින් ගලා යන ජීවිතයේ කඳු මුදුන් සොයාගෙන ආගල කන්ද නගින්නේ ආගල කන්ද නගින්නේ සිරිපා පහනින් එළිය ලබාගෙන මනරම් විදුනන අකුරු දරාගෙන කළුගම් පතුලේ රුවන් සොයාගෙන උඩුගම් බලා දෙන්නේ උඩුගම් බලා දෙන්නේ බෙදාගෙන සික්කගින් රුදු අඳුර නසාගෙන ඔබෙත් මගෙත් හීන කලලිවන දිනය උදාවන්නේ දිනය උදාවන්නේ මේ ඔබේ සවියයි මේ මගේ සවියයි Sabaragamuwa sarsaviyai, Sabaragamuwa sarsaviyai.
We do have special announcement. The technical sessions will be started at 12 o'clock.